Mala Singh. Ms. Mala Singh is an alumnus of IIT Roorkee as an environmental scientist. Today, she is a prominent green entrepreneur in India with more than 20 years of experience. She is a certified IGBC Fellow, IGBC AP, and Lead Green Associate. She was recognized as one of the top 50 green leaders globally in the World CSR Congress 2017 and bestowed with the title of IGBC Fellow for her outstanding contribution to the green building movement in India in 2016. So let's welcome Ms. Mala Singh.
I think green building approach is I would say, fundamental need of any project when we talk about net zero. So your story always starts from the green building, because unless you don't understand these green principles from the design perspective, from your green purchase and supply, from your green construction methodology, till commissioning of the project, then including our operation. So then it becomes, stage-wise improvement, like in phase 1, how much, emissions you are able to reduce. In second phase, how much you are able to reduce. So it's a very, very simple, as I think my colleague Shabnam Basi has mentioned, that it's a sustainability is not just one-shot goal. You need to achieve it step by step. It is a continuous improvement, and we can only achieve it stepwise. So I think I'll give you a very small case study here. This is, you can see in the presentation, the project name is Globicon Terminals. And this is basically warehouse and logistics facility project, which is a combination of some administrative buildings and some warehouses, which are supporting the infrastructure for the storage and cold storage, etc. Because it's a business operation is warehouse. So it's a logistics park. This particular project, so this you can see me with the IIT Delhi students. So this was a building tour, because this building is the India's first net zero platinum rated net zero energy project, which is the first India's net zero energy. We have in IGBC, I know Gurmeet ji is saying that we have net zero carbon. Now we are talking about net zero water, net zero waste. All standard and tools are available with IGBC, what we know that. But this particular project has basically complied the approach of net zero energy. So my dear audience, I would like to share with you my journey, how we have achieved that in just 5 or 6 minutes, although it was my 5-year journeys, but I will explain you in 5 minutes. So that's a time constraint. So I think Anusha is laughing. So you can see that my, the project client, which is an international cargo, which is a multinational company. So you can see that how proudly, they have put the plaque of net zero in their entry gate, and all the staff and their operational team is standing with me, because this was a building tour for the IIT Delhi for some research projects. So we have helped them to do some research also on the net zero projects. So this is, you can see that these are the 2 main buildings in this project. One is the admin building, other is the canteen building. We call it canteen building, but these both are basically by nature just administrative buildings. And some of the intelligent facilities, which is generally you will found in a warehouse and logistics facility, that's about their dedicated custom office. You need cabins for the customers, you need cafeteria, dormitory, you need, labor and other warehouses also in the warehouse and logistics facility. So you can see here, this is again in the entry of the gate, how the green education is also very, very important and integral part of this project. When you enter in this building, so you will feel that this is a green and net zero platinum rated project. But the story, how it started, now I'll show you. You can see some of the glimpses of the building, how the building looks like from all the elevations and angles. And this is the warehouse you can see here. So this is the, you can see how the green spaces and utilization of green spaces, although it is a warehouse project. So it is a very, very challenging to incorporate green spaces in a logistics or warehouse project, because most of the land is being occupied by the yards, because you have to store material, you need to store the containers there. So giving, equal amount of the benchmark to achieve like 20% or 30% greenery, it itself is a big challenge in this 20-acre project, although it was done. So that was the initiative by the project and decision makers. So these again, you can see some of the glimpses of the green spaces. They are recreational spaces for the laborers and the people who are involved in the loading, unloading of materials. So they can utilize these spaces. Then you can see just a tree plantation along the roads to reduce the heat island effect. And you can see that open grid pavers in the, on the open non-roof areas, just to cut down the heat flare and heat island reduction. All these strategies were an integral part of the design and passive elements. So story when started, when we were involved in this project in 2016, we were hired. We saw an empty land there, and the owner said, okay, we want to do a silver rating building. So I said, you want to do silver rating, so why you are so worried? Why not platinum? So they said, no, green building, cost extra, and we have to spend money. So it's about the financial implications. So I said, okay. So they took the pre-certification, which is a design pre-certification with a silver rating, because pre-certification define the intent and your design strategy in the design itself. Because they were not sure that how much they need to spend, if extra cost is there. So it's a money matter. But slowly, what happened when the client started their journey to make it green? So when the green purchase supply really matters a lot. So they started to incorporate all the materials, green certified products, green certified technologies, and embodied energy, material applicability to each and every component of the building. So everything was done so thoughtfully in the design and planning. So at the end, when we were doing the final assessment, so we got the platinum rating. So now I'll show you how we got that. So these were the green features. Basically, as I said, ample amount of green spaces, then optimized building envelope, which was explained by the architect already, by the first speaker already. So I will not focus on that particular aspect. Then, of course, the green construction methodology during construction. That was also integral part of this project. Then, of course, green purchase policy. That did a wonder, that did a magic here. From the silver rating, it became a platinum because of the green purchase policy. Because once you look into the green purchase policy, I'll tell you 80% of your efforts really shows the positive results. The same thing happened in this project. Now, decision makers were very, very happy that we got platinum rating, but definitely they took some initiative like high performance glazing, high performance HVAC system. They use AC blocks for the wall. Then, of course, for the water conservation, they use low flow fixtures, rainwater harvesting, sewage treatment plant, ETP also. Then they also use biogas plant to treat their organic waste. So whatever, the waste they have in this project, that is being used in the biogas, and they are using that gas, natural gas, in their own canteens to cook the food. And also the solar energy plant. Because friends, let me tell you, the project like warehouse, here you have a great opportunity to use the green energy within the site itself. That means on-site facility. Because you don't need to do off-site. You don't need to do the PPA or third-party agreement here. Because you have enough space on the warehouse roof where you can put the solar plant. The same exercise was implemented here, and 490 kilowatt solar system was installed in this particular project in phase-wise. So now I'll show you next. Now this is the story. So once your fundamental aspects, fundamental principle of green made this project a platinum rated project. So after 1 year, that means in 2017, we took the platinum rating. And in 2019, we realized that now we are operating this project. So because the client was so nice and very, very involved in the entire this sustainability initiatives, so they were measuring and monitoring all their energy consumption, daily basis, monthly basis. So what happened, the result was, when we did the quantitative analysis, we realized that the project also deserved net zero platinum rating, net zero energy rating. because we again did some auditing activities after 1 year of receiving the platinum project. Then we realized that project has potential because its EPI reduction, its use of green energy is meeting the benchmarks which we require in the net zero energy projects. So I'll tell you the methodology we use now. So basically, if you see in a net zero energy approach, there are basically two fundamental principles in the net zero energy. One is the 75% is about the EPI reduction. So we need to look into the EPI thresholds as per Energy Conservation Building Code 2017. So in any net zero building, if we are able to achieve, you can see these are the points given by the IGBC, and these are the EPI ratio of the building. So in this particular building, we achieved 0.75 EPI ratio. So how we got it? Because from fundamentally, this building was designed with the good optimized building envelope strategies. The technologies were used, keeping in the mind energy efficiency. So finally, when we realized during operation also, the kind of electricity bills were coming, the savings we were able to achieve, we realized that our EPI ratio was 0.75. It was actually 0.71. I'll show you in the next slides. So my target was here for the net zero exemplary performance to get all the 75 points out of 100. So we achieved here 0.71. So that means we were, basically we have achieved this at par excellence. We were able, because 0.75 was the target for 75, but we achieved 0.71. So I'll tell you, we did holistically, we tried to do here whole building simulation approach. And in the whole building simulation approach also, in the net zero energy standard system, we need to calculate the EPI ratio, which is basically the ratio of your actual energy performance index divided by design energy performance index. So what is the difference in actual energy performance means? Whatever the energy consumption actually through your electricity bill, through your measurement and monitoring program, you get the actual value, which is actually calibrated. It is not just based on the assumptions as per the design only. Here it was worked on the actual consumption we were able to receive month-wise, year-wise. So that actual energy performance index and divided by design energy performance index. Design means when we took the platinum rating. So that time we did the basically energy simulation based on the design parameters. So like, for example, I would say like, what is the thermal property of my wall? What is the thermal property of my roof? And how much energy inputs to achieve the energy efficiency holistically we are able to achieve in this project. So that was my design case. That was not operational case. But when it comes to the actual energy performance index, it was based on the actual operation. So now let me tell you, when you talk about net zero, it is case to case, because you cannot keep all the buildings in one, one phase. That it cannot be done in a standard SOP, I would say, because every building has its own business schedules, business operation schedules, warehouse works in its own way, 24 hours, the call center work in a different manner. So every building has its own schedule of working, and the way it consumes the energy, the way it has the occupancy actual, the way the business operations also variate, with the course of time after constructing a green building itself. Because there's a lot of research which is required in India still, to work on the different typology of the project. So this particular project was specifically to the commercial project, which is warehouse and logistics. So it was a combination. So where you have a warehouse, which is a naturally ventilated building, and when you have an administrative building, that's a conditioned building. So it was a mixed use. So if you see the summary here, the EPI ratio was 0.71 we achieved. And this was the sum of the inputs, which were our team of engineers, energy modelers, when they took the inputs. So all these were our design inputs, like what we considered in the walls, like AC blocks, good efficient plasters, and good green paints. So we worked on the thermal properties of the wall. Then similarly, the roof properties. Similarly, we work on the HVAC properties. So like, the coefficient of performance, and we look into this basically overall efficiency of energy only you can achieve when you look into the entire envelope and entire needs of energy through technology interventions holistically. So this was the same case here because it was designed with the green principles and it was operated also efficiently in the same manner to measure and monitor every day what you consume, what you generate through renewable energy, and how we can do the gap analysis, how we can rectify the areas where we need more improvements and we can achieve more efficiency. So that continuous holistic approach and continuous improvement approach was used in this project. And some of the simulations where generally what happened in normally new building projects or green building projects, we do the simulation based on the basically assumptions where we compare it with some baselines benchmarks. But when we talk about the net zero here, we are comparing this simulation, biometrics. We are here comparing with the actual design case versus your actual calibrated energy consumption for that particular area. So this is little different approach here. So you can see that in this slide, we are showing you here the total energy consumption for the without process loads. We are able to achieve here saving of 74%. And with solar PV, because solar PV, when we took the platinum rating, it was in the first phase, it was the 120 kW. Then again, we added more and then it became 490 in the second phase when we took the net zero rating. So now this is the case with the process load. You can see then with the process load, because it is a warehouse, because 50% of your energy consumption that comes from the process load, because you have all those folks lifting and loading and unloading activities here. So here process energy also plays a very, very important role where it comes to the warehouses or when we do the quantitative analysis of net zero energy buildings. So this was my third case. You can see for the net zero. So here basically you can see that this was the projected base case without process load and this is the without process load. So where we get the 27% saving, and if we incorporate the solar saving, then we got 200 saving. So I'll show you that case also. So in this case, you can see this is again with the process load. So with the process loads, basically what happened, your savings are little less. And when we were just operating this building for the entire span of 3 years, after getting platinum rating, so there are a lot of ECM measures were being again taken care. Like, we realized that in the external development lights, because in warehouse you have a high mask lights. So we changed those lights also. And client also got agree. They put some extra cost. We told them to use high SRI paint on the administrative building. They did that also. We also told them to revamp some motor and pumps, with a more highly energy efficient technologies. They did that as well. So where, I think rightly said by Anusha in the beginning, that, story always start from the decision makers and their willingness to incorporate in the CapEx module of the project, because they have a long-term vision that how we are achieving in the saving in the long term. So this is exactly the same story happened in this case. Now I'll show you. This is, you can see that I had told you in the beginning also when we talk about net zero. So 0.71 was our EPI ratio with the calibrated benchmarks of energy saving. So 75%, I would say the weightage for achieving the net zero platinum rating just comes from the EPI itself. Because you cannot have a net zero building just saying that, oh, I have a renewable energy plant and my building is working net zero. It doesn't work like that. First, you need to work on the passive feature. You need to work on the technology interventions. Then you need to also look into the efficient operation of the building. Then only it's a holistic approach and you are measuring and monitoring each and every component of the consumption pattern in the entire project development. Then only you are able to achieve the CPI ratio. Then here I am going to just show you, because in net zero energy building of IGBC, there is a 25% weightage goes to the use of renewable energy. You can do it either on site or either you can do off site. But let me tell you the opportunity in such a huge campus of 20 acres, when you have availability of such a large roof on the warehouse, Why should I go for off-site? Because for me, it is always good, for the on-site facility. And in this particular project, even the client has not invested directly. So the capex was also not from their end. And they did a third-party agreement here, PPA agreement with the Sterling Wilson, which is also a solar company you must be knowing. So they did a PPA agreement with them, and 490 kilowatt system was installed on the roof of the warehouse itself, where we cannot achieve this opportunity in the high-rise building. So that was the best use of opportunity in this project to create and to have the benefit of on-site solar roof policy. So I'll just conclude here. If you see the IGBC net zero energy rating, as I told you that 75% weightage goes to the EPI ratio and 25% weightage goes to the directly for the on-site solar energy or any green energy, wind or whatever you are using through on-site and off-site. So you need to at least achieve, 35 to 65%. That ratio with respect to the annual consumption, which actually you are calibrating, which is as per the electricity bill, not based on the assumptions and simulations only. Now I'll show you, this is the actual, these bills I'm showing you, this is not based on assumptions. This is the actual data. I was reluctant to share it, but today I'm sharing it. So this was a good, the kind of research we have done. So this is the actual data. So you could see that the renewable energy percentage is 58%, including the DG set load. If you see the DG power consumption is also there, because you need warehouses, you need DG also, because somehow there is a DG set also. And then solar generation, you can see we have already calibrated, and overall consumption, we were able to reduce 58%, and without DG set, it is 69%, and without process load, because what I'm showing you, that was with the process, like all your, plug loads, all your lifting of the containers, everything. So still you are able to achieve 70%. Now imagine with this, the generation of 490 kilowatt energy, we are able to, it is a 200% energy saving. If I just deduct my process loads and consider only the building loads. And let me tell you, we have also done the inventory of carbon emission here. So we realized that through renewable energy, we were able to achieve 568 tons of carbon dioxide per year annually, actually based on the calibrated data, no assumptions, no just design or some simulations, etc. And also the CO2 reduction through the building, we were able to achieve 85 tons. So in total, it was, you can see 653. So imagine it's a huge saving, I would say, from the client's initiative, from the decision makers, their sustainability initiative, and of course, the net zero energy rating and their, building platinum first, thought about silver rating, achieve platinum, then achieve net zero energy. Then again, we recalibrated this data for 3 years. So our journey doesn't end here, because it is a continuous journey. So still we can measurement, we can do measure, and we can again monitor and can see our performance gradually throughout the life cycle of the project. Then it is a net zero approach in true sense, I would say. So with this, I think I would like to end here. And my message to the audience is, let us focus on the green building principles first. And then I think we can see that where we are, having the performance, exemplary performance in which area. So then I think we could talk about net zero energy, we could talk about net zero water, we can talk about net zero waste. So just talking net zero is not sufficient, but working with a systematic approach in a continuous and systematic manner stepwise will really help us to achieve our mission by 2070 or maybe before that. Thank you very much.